Hi, it's Vicki here for my Tuesday night question and answer. And I'm so happy to be here. And I have three really good questions that I think are going to be the kinds of things that you're going to be able to relate to. The first is from Seema. And she says, any tips on how to get myself out of the downward spiral would be helpful. I'm coming up to 1 year since D-Day, and I'm finding this time very triggering and difficult. It's really finding it hard to just snap out of it. I've lain in bed all day long today, just crying. So I'm just sorry that you're having such a hard time, Seema, but I'm not surprised because what you're talking about in coming up to that 1 year anniversary is what we call the anniversary syndrome. When you're getting close to the period of time in the year when something significant happened to you, somehow there are so many triggers that remind you of that incident, of the event. And so, for example, the way, the light in the sky, what the darkness, the light, different things that are happening in that time of year, remembering last year what I was doing at this time, you relive it. And it's very, very normal that you're going to go through a rough patch around those anniversaries, the 1 year, the 1 month anniversary, the 1 year anniversary, birthdays, Christmas, because you can't help but summon back those memories of things that were happening around that time. So what Seema's saying is that she can't really snap out of it, and that she's just feels so bad and it hurts so much that she's just sort of surrendered to it. And this is what I'd like to suggest to you, which is that I want you to be a fighter. I want you to become a fighter for your happiness. And how you do that is that you get yourself up and you do one little thing that you know is healthy for you. I remember right after my husband left, I would drag my sorry self out and go to the gym and just walk on the treadmill even for 10 minutes. And I felt like death warmed over inside. It hurt so bad inside, but I just moved myself and I just went and did it. And it didn't, maybe it marginally felt better when I came home, but just the process of doing something and not letting yourself totally surrender for too much time. It's normal that you're going to, you may surrender for a day here and there, but you don't want to let it become a habit. And the way around it is to really push yourself to do anything that you know is healthy for you. Go see a friend, make a phone call, take a walk your dog, get out of the house, just do something. Even if it feels awful, do it. And you'll be making a cause for the next day to start to feel better. So I understand about surrendering to the pain, and believe me, I've been there. But you want to also become a fighter and try to challenge yourself to do stuff, even if you don't want to do it, but just do it because you know that it's going to be good for you. So thank you so much, Seema, for your question. I know a lot of people can relate to it. The next one's from Mandy. And she says, can you help with suggestions on how to stop feeling so hurt when your kids start spending time alone with their dad? I've never been away from my daughter, and he never really spent one-on-one time with her when we were together. So this is brand new, and it's really hard. And boy, it is really hard. And particularly in a case like this, where he wasn't really, a stellar dad when you were together, and now he has your daughter or both of your daughter, and is spending a weekend with her or spending an overnight with her, and it just feels so painful. And I know you feel so bereft. You feel this terrible sense of loss, and you also feel like it's so unfair. Like, why should you have to put up with this because he made the decision to leave? So it's being done to you. And also, perhaps another piece of it is that you worry about her. Is she going to be comfortable? Is she going to miss you? how hard is this going to be on her? I don't know how old this daughter is that Mandy is referring to, but it really doesn't matter. There are a lot of profound elements to this question. One of the sayings that I like is, what's extraordinary becomes ordinary. So the first 5 times that your daughter leaves and spends time with him, and you're feeling sad and lonely and maybe jealous that they're off having fun and that you're excluded, those first 5 times, they are going to hurt. And it is going to feel miserable, and maybe you're going to want to lie in bed, like we just said in the previous question, and just nurse that pain. But as time goes on, what's extraordinary becomes ordinary, and she will get used to being with him, and he will perhaps step up to the plate and start to develop a deeper relationship with her. And as much as that hurts you, it may perhaps benefit your daughter. And over time, it's not going to hurt you so badly. You're going to get used to it, and maybe you'll take advantage of the time when your daughter's at her dad's house to do have a little me time, and maybe do something special for yourself. So just to recognize the fact that, of course, it's going to feel awful in the beginning, but you are going to get used to it. And eventually, it's just going to become one of those things that happens in your life, that you need to accept. And hopefully, there'll be some positives in it for your daughter. And so the third question is from Gina. It's a short question, but a powerhouse. It says, how do I get out of my head and all the what ifs? So Gina, we've all been there, where you're obsessing around and around and around and around. And you can't stop your mind. And you're thinking, how did this happen? But in this case, Gina is asking about the what ifs. What if I had done something differently? What if I was, warmer or wasn't on his case about this, that, or the other thing? And what's embedded in what if is the feeling of regret. And regret, I always believe that regret is the most painful of all emotions, because in regret is this sense that if I could pull back time, I could do something differently. And the thing that I really want to tell you is that that's probably not the case. Nobody said you had to be perfect as a wife. Nobody said that you had to do everything right. And I'm sure that your husband or your ex-husband was not perfect as a husband. And you need to give your mind a rest and stop torturing yourself and questioning, what could I have done differently? How could I have seen this coming? How could I have headed it off? Of course you didn't know what was going to be happening. And of course you didn't, maybe you weren't always perfect, or there's some things that you wish you hadn't done. But you're human, and that's part of being in a relationship, because you didn't know what was coming down the road. So I hope that you give yourself some love and cut yourself some slack, and recognize also that this period of time of obsessing is normal. And I don't know how far away you are from the abandonment time, Gina, but that it's normal. We all go through it, and then hopefully we all come out the other side, and the day will come when you're not thinking about it all the time, when you've worked it through in your head, when you've given yourself enough answers, and you can start to move on and throw some love on yourself and be really kind to yourself, because you're going through a hard time and you don't need to blame yourself. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope what I've said has been helpful to you, and I wish you all the best. Bye for now.